Good evening, everybody. We're going to go ahead and get started with the City Council work session. First item on the work session agenda is committee updates. Councilman Burrell.
The Airport Authority would typically meet on tomorrow evening, but tomorrow being Veterans Day, it's been postponed until November the 18th. Same time and place.
All right, Councilman Gammon, have you may not have had any meetings
No,
yet.
there haven't been any yet. Yep. The next one's supposed to be Wednesday for the tree committee, but I'll be in municipal training for that, so I'll have to miss that one.
Councilman Robinson.
Not yet.
Councilwoman Booth.
Yes, I went to the library and had a meeting there, and they're basically going over their calendar year and their funding, how much money they're raising, and the chocolate and champagne event that's coming soon, and I don't have the date. I did text Randall, and I haven't heard back yet.
January 31st.
January the 31st? Okay. And then I went and met in front of the Bicycle Safety Committee. I met with them, and we're going over the safety of the e-bikes. There's been some concerns.
All right, and I have also been in that lull where I have not had a meeting lately, but probably have several coming up at the end of the month, so we'll keep everyone updated. Next item on the work session agenda is department head updates, and if you would, as you have something to bring forward to the council, if you also go over your agenda items, that'd be great. We have a long agenda, but we'll hopefully run through it in work session and then maybe get the meeting started a little early. Good evening.
Good evening, Council. Welcome aboard, Councilman Gammon and Councilwoman Booth.
Thank you.
Richard Johnson, City Engineer. I am being an agenda hog tonight, so I'm going to kind of go through those. First item I'd like to cover is item number 11. We're asking a resolution to award bid for the main channel dredging of Fly Creek to M&N of Alabama. Just to kind of give you a little background, in 2019, the city participated with the Fairhope Yacht Club to dredge the main channel. We've now had continued unfortunate silt and sediment deposits, and it's time to do that again. Prior to that, the Corps of Engineers used to maintain that channel, but they declared it a non-commercial, non-navigable channel under their maintenance, so it's left up to the stakeholders to do that. We did go out for bid. We received 6 competitive bids. M&M of Alabama was the low bid, and just for reference, they did the main channel dredging back in 2019, did a very satisfactory and good job with that. And we are asking to award that bid. To not get too much into where the money's coming from this, and I want to go to the next agenda item because it's tied to it. The next agenda item, as I said, in 2019, the Fairhope Yacht Club was a partner with the city in that channel dredging, and they are on board again this year. And we're asking for you to authorize the mayor to enter into a memorandum of understanding that talks about the project, how it's managed, and how the costs are shared. And just to kind of give you the lay of the land there, this project kind of has 2 components. The main channel, that is from the very back of the harbor all the way out to the terminus of that channel, and that is the shared cost, including the fixed cost of mobilization, demobilization, set up the dewatering, and that type of thing. But we also put in the bid on a separate line item is what we call the upper channel. That's where Fly Creek turns right past the fuel dock and heads up the creek. We have slip holders that run along that portion of the channel, and there is no shared part of that channel with Fairhope Yacht Club, so that cost would be 100% on us if we perform that work. And on that low bid, that's about an additional $68,000. So I don't want you to think it's an absolute 50-50 split. It is the main channel, and in the pre-channel survey, which tells us how much sediment is there, is divided straight down the middle on the center line of the channel. And at the end of it, the cost will be shared by, if we have more sediment on our side that got removed, we pay our equally calculated point, and point being is the Fairhope Yacht Club did, over the summer, do some spot dredging. So some of their parts of the channel has less sediment in it than ours. So, but we're looking at a contribution from them somewhere in that $300,000 and $325,000 range to offset our hard costs of this project. One of the asks in the MOU is to allow Fairhope Yacht Club to kind of amortize their expense of this, and that would be that they would reimburse 1/3 upon substantial completion of the project, which means substantial completion, we have a post dredge survey done. We calculate that the contractor has successfully achieved the dredging depths required and calculate the volumes, and that will be part of his final pay request, and we'd submit that documentation to Fairhope Yacht Club for 1/3 of their shared cost. Then they're asking that 6 months past that date, they pay the next third, and then 12 months past that date, pay the final third, and that would be, that is laid out in the MOU. And we're appreciative that we have a partner in helping defer some of this cost and maintain that channel. And on those two items, I'll be glad to answer any questions.
Richard, is this a 10-year dredge? Is that the estimated time, or how long do they think this dredge will last,
Well, so
in theory?
the permit allows us to go 2 feet beyond the permitted depth. So the permitted depth is 8 feet below mean water line, or mean average water depth. We're going to 10, which our permit allows. We're going to maximize the depth. You know, we can say that we got 6 years out of the last channel dredging. We did have a pretty substantial hurricane in that time, which probably contributed to some of that sediment moving in prematurely. I know that we've discussed with y'all that we're going to pursue a Go Mesa grant to see about extending the jetties to help preserve that channel a little bit better. And hopefully that will give us some more longevity. But to say how long this will last,
Hard to say.
you know, we got roughly 6 years, and we've had a pretty rough summer of some boats, especially that have keels, sailboats with deep keels bottoming out at certain times. So, you know, I would hope that we get 6 years, but maybe if we pursue extension of the jetties maybe next calendar year, we can stretch that out to a decade. I don't really know. It's all environmentally and weather dependent.
The last dredge was 8 feet, correct? Or was it 10?
It was just 8 feet, yes, correct.
Okay, so we're getting 2 extra feet out of it.
Yes.
Council, any questions for Richard?
I mean, isn't it, I mean, and I'm a proponent of trying to fix the jetties so that we don't have to dredge so often, but isn't it sediment from upstream that's doing the most of the damage and not necessarily that coming from the bay?
Yes and no, okay? Definitely the hump, if you want to call it, that tends to form at the turn in the creek right there at the fuel docks. I would guarantee you that that's riverine sediment deposition, because that river makes Fly Creek makes a turn there, velocity slows down, suspended sediment and sands drop out. But we also get a pretty bad hump at the end of the jetties, which that tells me that's longshore currents, north and south, that is moving sand along the beach line or the shoreline, and when it hits that low point, it drops sand in there. So I think we got 2 problems. Hopefully with some work with Fly Creek and the 98 bridge in the future, that will solve some of the erosion that has contributed to the deposition of sands and silts there, especially in the harbor proper. And hopefully, if you can get the jetties out far enough where now depth is, you've got some natural depth to the bay bottom, you avoid that problem. So I think it's a twofold issue.
I got a question. Had some dredging material in the news recently. What is happening with this dredging material?
Well, that's the great news about being able to dredge near the shoreline. We have in our permit to be able to dewater and deposit that material on the beach, so it's not going to be side cast or pumped out in the water. Now, I will warn you, if you go watch it in operations, when it is put on the beach, it looks almost black. But the most amazing thing is after a day or two of weathering, it turns to that same tan as the rest of the sand on the beach.
Yeah, I've seen that before.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions? All right, Richard, I'm sure you're not done yet.
No, I'm not, I'm just getting started. Number 13 is a little bit more pedestrian and straightforward. As you know, between the sewer lift station upgrades at Magnolia Beach Pier Avenue Boat Ramp and the decommission of the old lift station, we also lost a restroom that was attached to it, and so we've been out for quotes on a replacement restroom, and we're asking you to award that quote. And that's going to Thomas Construction for a not-to-exceed project cost of $98,726. There is a $10,000 contingency for the slab as well as the electric. Ben and his team are going to take care of that for us, and the Public Works will be placing the slab, and then Thomas will come build the new replacement restroom. And I know that this has been an important one because we've been without that restroom for over a year, year and a half. So we would like your consideration to award that. Any questions about the restroom at Magnolia Beach Pier
Pretty
Avenue?
tight on those quotes.
Yeah, how'd you choose?
We had to go with the low one, and even though there's only
$131
Yeah.
difference? Wow. I guess they were both dialed in. And on that, to going with the lowest quote, but to stay under 100,000 for the bid law, so they can't have any,
No, and the good news is it is a blank slate, so it's not like they're tearing down and rebuilding something. It has been completely wiped off, and it's from the ground up. So it's a turnkey as shown in the plans and specifications, so that is a locked-in guaranteed price that they can't exceed. So yes, sir. Yeah, oh, I guarantee you.
other questions for Richard on the restrooms?
And then I'm going to cover item number 14. This has been a project that's been in work for a while. That's our Pecan Watershed Drainage Improvement Project. This is Phase 1, and we're asking you to award that contract to Chris Brewer Contracting at $545,810. And there is a transfer. We are having to borrow a little bit from Phase 2 funding that we have, so we're not asking for additional funding. We're just moving what we have allocated for Phase 2 to Phase 1 so we can get this project going, and we'll hopefully be back to you pretty quickly with Phase 2 based upon the available budget. Again, 8 bids. And I think the difference between number 1 and 2 was about 18,000, so we feel very, very confident about those bids. And just to kind of paint a little bigger picture of this area, so we got a new bathroom going in at this location. We're part of this project is those terrible outfalls that you see on each side of the Pecan Avenue Pier are going away, and they're going to be rerouted and come through the bulkhead that is immediately south of the boat ramp. That bulkhead's being replaced in this project. And that is going to not only clean up the aesthetics, but the function. But the other thing is you'll see hopefully here in a few months a bid opening for the Magnolia Beach restoration project that's GOMESA funded. So when we're through, you're going to have new drainage, a new bathroom, and a preserved and restored beach in that location. And then I'm going to try to talk to the mayor next year to do a little park improvement project at the boat ramp parking to kind of mimic what's been done at the working waterfront at White Avenue, just to kind of match that, because that parking lot's looking a little tired down there. So we're asking you to award that one. And getting close to the end, item number 19 is the Fairhope Pool Rehabilitation Project. We've talked about this. It's been carried forward on the budget for quite a while. We're trying to hit the non-swim season. We only opened one bid from Bienville Construction. We are asking you to reject that bid and at least authorize us to negotiate. The base bid is not far out of whack with budget, but even the contractor has suggested some areas where he thinks there could be cost savings and still accomplish the project. And our goal would be to work very quickly and hopefully have this back on the agenda 2 weeks from tonight with consideration for award based upon and on budget. So if you'd give us that opportunity, we would like to at least take it as opposed to having to go back out for rebid. And then finally, item number 20 is a new home team high school baseball dugout. This kind of came on us really quick, and the ask was if we could get it done before baseball season, so that's February 1 is completion. Again, it's a tight quote. We only, and just so you all know, when we do a formal quote, which is much like a bid, meaning that we put together plans and specifications and responses, and we send it out to, in this case, it was 18 general contractors that had done work for us in the past and vertical construction, with the note that if they don't respond, we'll count that as a no bid. In this case, we got one respondent from a contractor that's done several projects for us, so he has a proven track record. And it's right there close when you add the $5,000 contingency for Ben to do the electrical part of it. We're bumping that, but Pat and I met with at least by phone with the contractor on Monday morning this past week and verified that, yes, you can deliver this on, the schedule was the first question, and second was that there's no room for any change of anything. It's that building as described, and we are, I think the high school baseball team sure would like to have a new dugout, and after, as part of the design of this, going to visit the old dugout, yeah, I think we've gotten our money's worth out of that structure. It's not in real very good shape. So be glad to answer any questions or cover anything additional on those items, and that
Can
would
you
do it.
expand on what that is? I was speaking to the mayor earlier today, and for the audience, it's not just the dugout where the players sit. I mean, listen, it sounds like it's the bench where you sit, and it's $100,000. Let's tell the people what they're
Well,
getting
no,
for that.
This is really a facility that is not only serves as the dugout, but it is a space that's adequate for the baseball team, not only to sit, but to stand, to congregate, to do, and then it has an accessory portion to it that includes a restroom, as well as, Ben calls it a mud room. I'm not sure exactly, but it's a storage area for equipment and bases and things like that. So it's really, it's more than just, yeah, it's not just a little
It's not
chain
the
link dugout.
concrete thing that you sit in
No,
and get out of the sun.
this is a masonry structure with a monoslope roof with some exposed, not only structural beams, but it's going to be attractive, and feel pretty confident that this time next year we'll be talking about doing one for the visiting side to match. So,
Not as nice.
well, they won't get the bathroom in the mud room, but at least the look will be the
Dugout
same.
portion of
Yeah.
that one.
Yeah, okay. So yes, it's more than just what what we played in when we were in Little League, so.
Richard, can I ask a quick question on the Magnolia Beach? I know we're also doing the beach renourishment program there. Does that include jetties as well?
The Magnolia Beach, it involves rock breakwaters.
Okay.
They're not really jetties, because
Right.
jetties are things that go out perpendicular from the
Okay.
shore. There will be right now, there's a wooden
Wall.
groin wall there. That's going away, and that will have a little jetty structure.
Okay.
But then you'll have the offshore breakwaters. Anybody who's been to the beach at the Grand knows what those look like. These will not be as prominent. They'll be a little bit lower in the water and really will only be exposed at, there'll be very little structure shown at high tide. But what that will do is not only that, the most amazing thing is if you go to the beach now, it's a very steep embankment, and then there's the water. Well, you'll actually end up with a pretty flat beach going out for a pretty good distance, and that will almost carry on beyond the Pecan Avenue Pier. So we're really excited about that.
And that's going on at the same time this work is going on as well, correct?
Yes, so what we purposely did, we wanted to get the drainage work out the door first. So if y'all award that tonight, that'll get started. And then we've got the advertisement dates already set for the beach project, and that's going to open we'll come to you the first meeting in January. So, and then as soon as, basically, we've got it timed so as the drainage is wrapping up, the beach nourishment contractor's moving in, and then boom. And we're only, Mayor, that's that 60-day project.
That's
So
right,
what
yeah.
we're thinking is by March and spring, starting to think of getting here, it's all done. Bathroom, beach, and drainage. All right, any other questions? I've taken too much of your time.
Rich, I got one question, sorry. I'm a
Yes,
little
sir.
new here.
That's okay.
When you have the phase two, sorry, you're transferring money from phase two to phase one, does that mean you're going to be lowering your phase two overall, or do you plan on finding more money for phase two to fund it?
Generally, what we do, and in this case, we will direct our engineer to design toward the budget. And sometimes we're successful at that, and honestly, sometimes we're not. This phase one was the request was designed toward the budget, and as you can see, we exceeded the budget. So, again, it may be one of those that to get to where we need to get to a point where we've solved those problems we're trying to solve, we may have to come back and ask for additional appropriation or at least identify funds that we can give up elsewhere. George and I worked together to allocate some drainage dollars that are really not specifically designated to a project that's in this year's budget. If we get to that point, we may come to you and say we need to move a few of those drainage dollars. We're gonna work hard to avoid asking for new money. We may just ask permission to move existing allocated money. But sometimes Councilman Burrell thinks I always come under, but it's not true. Sometimes they come in higher than what was predicted, so.
And just going off what Jack said, I didn't see it in the agenda. Do they have like the blueprints or renderings of all this stuff that you're planning on building? Is that typically put in the agenda, or Mayor, do you have those?
They're in the agenda.
They are? Okay, so
They
I just didn't
usually
find
are,
them.
yeah.
I just didn't see them.
And if you like,
450 pages, so I probably just didn't
I'll
find
be glad to share those files with you, so. Any other
Any
questions?
other questions?
The other thing too, Richard, on Pecan, we also talked about if it had to go to a phase 3, there's the possibility of that as well.
Correct.
So if we see we don't have the budget, it could actually go to a phase 3 as well, depending on what phase 2 looks like.
Thank you all
Thank you,
very much.
Richard.
Thank you.
All right. Sure.
Good evening. I have agenda item number 18. Just a little bit of housekeeping. It's a budgeted line item that is reoccurring annually, and it's our on-call emergency contract with GMC Underground. That's the same company that's doing, has done phase 1, is currently doing phase 2 of our cast iron replacement. So got a good bit of experience with those guys, and trust them to take on this contract. This will be the first year they've done it. It was another company last year, but we see no issue with it.
Questions for Wes? All right. Any other items, Wes?
That's it. It's
Okay.
easy.
Perfect. Wes is gas superintendent. So.
Yeah, sorry.
And if
Sorry.
everybody, just for the first meeting or so, if you come up, if you wouldn't mind just
Sure.
introducing
He's
yourself.
being
and-
generous.
and
First
your
10 meetings or so would be great.
title.
Okay, I get it. I get it.
Yeah, they won't be able to memorize them all, but it'll help a little bit. So
Yeah.
thank you very much.
Yep, thanks.
Appreciate
Or
you,
just
sir.
real big name tags.
There you go.
Good evening.
Good evening. I'm George Latham, the Public Works Director. I only have one item on the agenda for tonight, and that's ordinance with number 6. Just some housekeeping for us to, up in City Hall and in the front office, to be able to associate who gets a sticker and who doesn't get a sticker for the city dumping. If y'all have any questions for that?
Well, yeah, I'd like
I
to hear
did
more
too,
about it.
yeah.
And it's taken the word dump out and using landfill.
Well, yes, yes. Sorry for using the wrong word.
Garbage dump, all of that was changed to landfill area.
I don't think there's anything really
There's
changing
nothing
with
changed.
nothing's changing with the mechanics of it and how, the process and how it works. It's just the language in there did not match what we're currently calling the
Yeah.
landfill,
And
so they went
a
in
little
and
bit
cleaned it
easier
up.
to read, too.
Yes.
Do we have any problems with people? I mean, the fine's $100 in 1980, whenever this was originally passed. It's been-
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
with inflation alone, it should be a higher fine, but I don't know if there's a minimum there or a maximum that we have there. I mean, $100 is nothing to somebody that's trying to get rid of some things.
Well, and the other thing too is we haven't really had anybody who's been enforcing that, and we do now. A sanitation supervisor who's actually enforcing the rules, and also a sanitation coordinator who's working underneath him to do like can audits and that kind of stuff. So we actually have people enforcing the rules.
Yeah.
So no, we do not levy fines very much, but this does give us the ability to if we need to.
Right.
They also stop you when you go into the landfill to get your address.
Oh, I know,
look
it's,
at your-
yeah, I gotta read them why I'm there, what I'm giving them.
Or they stop you if if we're closing for something and they
Right,
just
right.
don't let you in.
Yeah.
But it does, it actually, for clarification, it says the fine shall not be less than $100. So, I mean, that's up to the judge will
Correct. It could
determine.
be
But
up
I
to $500.
think state laws maximum is 500,
Correct, up to $500, could be.
which Hasn't changed in 100
Yes,
years.
but we do not levy many
But we-
fines.
fine.
No.
Just curious.
It's clearing it up so we have a little more weight behind when we tell people what we need them to do.
Yeah.
So we can clean up our books and make sure we're auditing and holding people accountable.
Sitting on the sidewalk, still a nickel.
Thank you, George. Appreciate you.
Good afternoon, Hannah Noonan, I'm the Human Resources Director. I've got resolutions 21 and 22. They kind of mirror each other, so 21 is authorizing the mayor to execute an extension of the contract with Genesis Industrial Staffing to supply temporary employees to supplement our existing workforce. It would include the following departments: Adult Recreation and Special Events, Streets Department, Horticulture Department, Sanitation Department, for a total of $83,500. Number 22, we actually discussed 2 weeks ago. This is amending that resolution to adjust the not-to-exceed amounts for Long's Human Resources. For adult recreation, special events, streets department, landscape, horticulture, to add sanitation for $15,000. So that not-to-exceed amount is actually reduced to $69,732.27.
Trying to get these two to add up. I was looking at the last meeting on this. The Long's Human Resources had a total of 123,232.
About 153 approximately if you add them together.
Yeah, these, is it not? It's like roughly 133,
So Hannah, yeah.
about a $7,000 or $8,000 increase.
So
Oh, wow, okay,
when we were discussing it earlier, that's what we were talking about. So my conversation with some of the council has been, Genesis, when we first approved their contract, was supposed to be for sanitation hoppers
Mm-hmm.
only because the other company would not insure those employees. So
Correct.
we were looking for another temporary service to do that. So, but what we found was there were offerings that Genesis had that we could also use for other personnel.
yes, that's
So we
correct.
wanted to expand their contract so we can use Genesis or Longs depending on which type of employee we need and who's available at what company.
Yes, that's correct.
So I guess the conversation we had was when we came to them with Longs,
Mm-hmm.
we allocated a certain dollar amount. So we didn't just split that 50-50 then.
No.
We came back and there's a little bit of an increase,
Okay,
correct?
I think so. That's
Okay.
from my memory last week.
Okay.
And I'm not the math
I
person.
wasn't aware
but-
there was an increase. There's
Yeah.
roughly
Okay.
an $8,000 increase
Okay.
from
Yeah.
the last resolution to
But
this.
those are all budgeted salary numbers.
Yes, they are
so-
budgeted numbers.
Yeah.
So, and the intention is that if, we end up using Genesis more than Longs, then similarly to the question for Richard earlier, you would just adjust the amount. We'd come back to you and ask for an adjustment to the not to exceed for Genesis or Longs, depending on how the staffing goes for the year.
That clear as mud.
It's clear. I would just, when I'm being briefed, I'd like to know when there's an $8,000 increase.
That's my fault on the math.
Thrown in
No,
there.
it's my fault. I told him I thought that they equaled, and I went back to, I told you I would go pull the resolution. I went back to pull it, and Lisa didn't get it. We didn't get it before we came to the meeting. So we were getting the answer by text while we were here.
All right, thank you.
Very much, Hannah.
Good evening. I'm Noel Berry. I'm the utilities engineer.
Hi.
Hi.
Good evening.
I have a few water wastewater resolutions this evening. 15, 16, and 17. 15 is the approval of professional engineering services for the 8-inch water main replacement under Rock Creek with Krebs. We, for an additional amount of $15,000. That one, when they were in the design phase, they discovered that the sewer main was exposed out of the ground. So we were already going to be in the area, so it wouldn't make sense to leave it as is because it would potentially be a bad situation. And so that would cover design and CE&I for that. Any questions on that one? And 16, City Council rescinds Resolution 550625, which was passed, I guess it was a month or two ago. That was for a new pump at Well 8 and associated work. We ended up discovering that it needed a little more work than that, and it was going to make it exceed the $100,000. So we're just nixing that one, and we're going to step back and punt with a bid, which y'all will see. Y'all will see here in a couple weeks.
And in the interim,
In the interim,
gonna
yes.
rent,
Yes, we have a temporary pump. We're guessing at the number of weeks until we get it bid and the new contract's in place. And a temporary pump and test pump will be in the new contract.
and additionally, we have a new, submersible pump on
On the
order
way,
that is, and that is what you're trying to do here, is basically bridge the gap between when our spare pump arrives versus when, for
Well-
how long you gotta rent this one?
Right now, we're thinking this bid will come in before our new pump comes in, but we already have another well out, which y'all, well number 9, y'all may know about, so. Yeah, so
Okay.
that next, the new rental pump may be a good spot for that, hopefully, if we get it in time.
Noel, I'm sorry, my bad, is, they're gonna be, Grinder's gonna install this rental pump, and is it insured if it goes out?
It is already installed, so that we
Oh,
had.
you're asking to be paid afterward?
For more, yes, additional, because,
Continue renting it.
yes,
Okay.
yes.
That wouldn't be good. I know where your mind was going on that. That'd be out of order a little bit, but no.
Yeah. So they didn't originally think it was gonna go over $100,000, which it has now.
Is that pump insured? You know, if it fails, are we on the hook for that pump?
Oh, no, that's their pump, yeah, rental pump, no.
Okay.
If it fails, they should come out and fix it for us, so we can continue to pump water at that point.
Both these are budgeted?
We budgeted for them, not specifically, but we have money in the budget, yes.
Okay.
Just so you know, we do budget for well maintenance, and so
Right.
it's a lump sum dollar figure, so when we do have
Not
pumps that
necessarily
go down,
pre-assigned. Okay,
correct,
got
it's
it.
not specific wells, but we do capture that cost per well, but we do have the maintenance money budgeted.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
It's only November, so we still have budget.
We're only 10 days in. We've got a lot
Yeah, I
of
hope we
ground to
still
go.
have some money left.
What about item number 17?
17 was contract with GeoCon for concrete testing at wastewater treatment plant. Mayor Sullivan, I guess it was 2 weeks ago, we had this on the council for her to negotiate the pricing for it. And it was $7,500.
Put in the contract, okay.
And this is for testing for the piece of equipment for the sludge removal for the press, correct? No, yes,
Yes.
yeah, the geocon testing to make sure, because it's a heavy piece of equipment.
Yeah, it'll require a new slab. And we're removing a lot of the existing structure to get it into.
Any other questions for Noel? while
The
he's
only,
here?
the only question I have is on the purchase request form, it has a vendor quote of $8,000. Resolution states 7,500.
Sherry must be a good negotiator then, that's all I can say.
Well, you don't want to have to bring it back for $500 because we didn't approve enough.
I don't think so. Hopefully this is more than what we'll need. But we can kind of vary as far as the testing goes. We can, if it looks good. Now, if it looks not so good, we may be back in here wanting more tests because we want to make sure what we put out there is gonna do the trick.
The actual letterhead from the company says 7,500, so.
All right. The purchasing department request form had $8,000 in two places. I just,
Yeah, I see it. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Hunter Simmons, the Planning Director. We have a couple of items on the agenda. Number 5 is a public hearing, so usually try not to discuss those too much unless there's specific questions during the work session. Item 9 is zoning amendments that were a public hearing during the last meeting. Do understand there's been some questions about those, and looking at how to address those, there's really 2 ways. It's at the council's pleasure. If you wanted to pull that from the agenda to discuss the next meeting, that would be appropriate. If you wanted to wait to get to that point and table it, that would also be appropriate. So just with the understanding, if we do make amendments, we do have to re-advertise that in full, come back for a public hearing.
So the third option would be to vote it down.
Absolutely. 2 more. You could remand it back to Planning Commission, technically vote it down in its entirety, or send it back to us for amendments. We also have Board of Adjustment reappointments. I know those were made a couple of months ago, looking at staggering terms. We had to actually go back to 1953 to find those terms, track everyone back down
Oh,
to
gosh.
get those staggered terms straightened out. We do have those straightened out. In the meantime, we did have a member asked to move to a supernumerary position that is not a member, so Kathy Slagle requested that, so there is a change in those memberships. Brian Flowers is being requested to be a member of the Board of Adjustment, while Kathy Slagle moves to the supernumerary position. I'm sorry, backing up one. And that was that's on the back page. So the Board of Adjustment appointments was item 28.
There we go.
And I skipped one. Item 10 is a site plan extension. If you recall, almost a year ago, there was a site plan approval that the Planning Commission recommended you approve to relocate the Encounter House. That site plan expires after 1 year. So they have asked for an extension to that site plan. I know and I won't speak for Eric, but I know they've kind of been doing some due diligence on moving that building, and talked to Eric quite a few times about that process. I think there was an article a couple of weeks ago out there giving some information on that, but we don't see any issues extending that. Hopefully, they can get that building moved appropriately. That's all I've got.
Questions for Hunter? Thank you, sir.
I
Well,
will, that's not directly, but item 8.
I was going to bring it up. You can
Okay.
cover it if you want.
Thank you.
All right. For you?
All right, I've got 4 items on the agenda. The first one, item 26, is for a variance to the noise ordinance on December 5th for a rehearsal dinner that's going to be held at 85 North Bancroft Street. I believe they pronounce that apiary.
Yep.
And it's only 30 minutes, 10 to 10:30.
I'll just say for the new council members, that this is pretty
Yeah.
common, especially downtown.
Yeah, the noise ordinance kicks in at 10 o'clock, so they're just asking to extend it 30 minutes.
You'll tell us if you have a concern about any of these prior to.
I will.
Thank you.
All right, item 30 is an application for a restaurant liquor license for Ashley Gray at Locals. That checked out fine. We do a background check, local background check, to make sure that there's not any issues locally. The state will do theirs statewide.
Item 31.
Yeah,
so-
and item 31 is a special events license, and that's for Bottles Up to come in and actually serve the alcohol at that rehearsal
and
dinner.
On number 26, that's what I thought. So
And
you had one more?
item 27, I'm not really sure that that's mine, I think that's just for y'all to approve for them to, the streets are already closed, and the Rotary Club's they're requesting permission to set up a grill on Delamar Avenue to serve hot dogs.
Any
All right.
questions for Chief?
Any questions? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Good
How are you
evening.
doing?
I am not a department head. Nicole Love, I'm the grants coordinator. Also, I am the liaison for the Fairhope Environmental Advisory Board, so welcome, Councilman Gammon. They do have a meeting Friday
Friday.
Yes, their meetings are Fridays at 3. It's the worst time to have a meeting. Yeah, it's awful.
Thank you, Council President.
Yeah. Yes.
Well, good news coming.
Yes, good news is coming, yes. So number 7, the ordinance change for them is to go every other month with their meetings.
Save 6
Yes.
meetings.
And that is really just so that they, meetings are an hour long, so they really just want to take the time to have a subcommittee meeting, and they will advertise, they understand the rules for subcommittees. If they do develop a subcommittee, they will advertise those subcommittee meetings as well. So that's really what this ordinance is about, so that they can go ahead and move to every other month meetings.
Let me ask you a question about that. So,
Yeah.
did you say they meet Friday, or did you say Fridays?
It's once a month on Friday at 3 o'clock.
Are they meeting this Friday?
Yes.
Okay, so do we need to suspend with the rules and vote on this tonight? Does that affect their meeting Friday?
Oh, that's true. No, because that will start in January.
Okay, won't affect, okay.
Yep,
All
nope.
right, cool. All right.
This will start in January, yep. And then they do also, number 29 on our agenda tonight, there are 2 reappointments to the Fairhope Environmental Advisory Board. And then in terms of grants, I do have number 23, which is to renew the contract with Grant Management LLC for another year. We do have a couple of grants that Grant Management is working on with us, so to extend that contract for another year. Any questions? Okay.
Thank you, Nicole. Anybody else? We're starting to wind down on agenda items. Is there anybody else that has an update? All right, I hit a few.
Mr. Chairman, I would have a few minutes. I would like to go to item number 8.
Yeah, I was about to get to that one. I was gonna run down and fill in the
We'll take
holes.
over. You got it.
So, yeah, the first item, just running through, seeing what's on here. Item number 8 is a ordinance that would be to protect the health, safety, and general welfare of the people and extend the temporary suspension of consideration of certain residential multiple occupancy project and subdivision applications. 8 and 9 kind of go hand in hand, as we discussed with item number 9. There have been some questions that have come up about this, so, a lot of options here, but I think one would be to pull from the agenda, another would be to table the item. In that consideration, we have a pause on multiple occupancy and subdivision applications, and what we did during the time of that pause was to work on the zoning, so the request would be to consider doing an extension of that pause and then tabling or pulling the final adoption on the ordinance and spend a little time to see, we've got 2 new council members, if we need to make any changes, go back to re-advertise, as Hunter said, if we need to make changes, and just didn't want the pause to expire, which I believe expires before our next council meeting. So in addition, if y'all wish to extend the pause, it would have to be moved for immediate consideration in order to have that in place. And then that would allow us to table the final adoption on the zoning ordinance revisit that and not have a gap in the pause on those applications. Hunter, is that pretty much it in a nutshell? Okay. Any questions while we're here on that, or?
I
any
just gonna
thoughts?
pile on, and you stated it all, is it on number 8, I was gonna say, so that we don't have a lapse in that pause in applications, that we should, I would urge us to suspend with the rules, pass that ordinance number 8 tonight. There's some advertising requirements that come along with that as well, and then on number 9, I don't care if we remove it, or I would just think simplest thing to table it indefinitely. Indefinitely means if you're ready to bring it back up in 2 weeks, you can, and if you're not, you don't have to.
And that is kind of my thought, would be suspend with the rules and do the extension on the ordinance, and then secondly would be, I would recommend tabling it, but we can get into that conversation when we get to that point. For the rest of the, and I feel like we hit most everything. The item for Gary Coles on St. Michael's Catholic High School, that's just something I think that we do because they need it. It's not really that we're involved, I don't think, in telling them what to do with the building department over there for the high school, but they just need the city to appoint somebody for that. And then item 25, mayor's, is just the employee Christmas party. And then lastly, we do have an executive session tonight to discuss pending and potential litigation. I'll go over the reasons from that. I've got a letter, I will have a letter from city attorney, and that's just to catch council up on items of litigation or pending litigation potential. So if y'all are good, let's take a 10-minute break, and we'll come back and get the council meeting started early. Yeah, it smells pretty bad now that the heater is turned on, so sorry for that.
They tell us everything.
Wow. All right, tonight's invocation is going to be given by Reverend Matt McCullum from Trinity Presbyterian Church, and after that, we will have the Pledge of Allegiance.
Let us pray. Loving God, we acknowledge that all that is good comes from your hands. Help us to keep our hearts fixed upon you, for we seek first you and your kingdom. And as we look forward to Veterans Day, our thoughts are with the men and women who have served our nation in times of war and in times of peace. We thank you for their selfless sacrifice, those sacrifices that some have even given their lives to protect our nation, to preserve our freedoms, to restore peace. So grateful for the dedication of these heroes. And finally, we pray for our community, for our local leaders, our city council and mayor. Grant them wisdom and discernment. Bless them, we pray, as they are a blessing to others. Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. All right, council. First item on the agenda is to approve the minutes of the October 27th meeting and the work session and regular meeting and the November 3rd council meeting, organizational meeting.
Move to approve the minutes as submitted.
Second?
Got a motion and a second. Any changes? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right, meeting minutes are approved. Mayor, your report.
Thank you. I beat you to it.
Thank you.
Councilman
You
Conyers.
did. I looked up, and there you were.
There I am. So just a couple things, and then I'm also have a special guest here that I'm going to ask to come say a few words. First, I just want to thank Paige and her staff, the police department, Public Works, for the great Veterans Day parade. It's always such a special parade, and so thankful for all the people who come out and line the streets to honor the veterans every year. Our Veteran of the Year this year was Frank McCardle. He will be here at the next meeting. They had a pre-scheduled vacation before he found out he was was Veteran of the Year, so he'll be here at the next meeting so we can honor him. So again, thank you to all of our veterans for their service, not only to our country, but also to our community. Most of them who live here continue to give back, and we just appreciate them and their service. And tomorrow, city offices obviously will be closed in honor of Veterans Day. Also, before we come back, we will celebrate tree lighting, which is exciting. It's kind of crazy that we're already here for tree lighting, but we are. And this year, Sally Dean, the Executive Director of Ecumenical Ministries, will be flipping the switch for the city. And doing that just to remind people that there are, a lot of people in need here in our community during this time of the year. And so asking folks to bring canned goods to tree lighting. We'll have the Welcome Center throughout the holiday season, throughout the like that weekend of the tree lighting, the movie in the streets, and Christmas open house. We'll have drop-off locations at the Nick Center, the Welcome Center. You can drop off canned goods there that will be donated to the food pantry. They work hand in hand with Prodigy Pantry, which I know Councilman Gammon is on that board, but they work hand in hand with them to make sure the needy folks along the Eastern Shore are taken care of, but Ecumenical Ministries specifically here in Fairhope. They also help us administer a utility relief fund for folks who can't always just make ends meet and can't afford their utilities. So they do help us out by vetting those folks and making sure they really are in need and helping them with their utilities if they need it. So excited to have Sally up there with me on stage. I know all of you will be there as well and excited for that. So tree lighting, of course, on the 20th, Thursday evening, lights on at 6. Then we'll have the movie in the streets on Saturday night and Christmas open house in downtown, where we're encouraging people to shop local, of course, this holiday season. And the stores are usually open between 1 and 5 on Sundays from here through the holiday season. So please join us for that. And at this time, I'd like to ask Sonny Brewer to join me to give us an update on Henry Stewart's hut.
And because I'm known to ramble and go on over long, I decided that I would do something I don't typically do, which is to put my remarks on paper, and it's as a letter addressed to the Honorable Sherry Sullivan, Mayor. Dated today's date, and it goes, Dear Mayor Sullivan, after almost 4 years since Councilman Kevin Boone, my little dog Bobby, and I met with you to discuss the idea to move Henry Stewart's Roundhouse from the parking lot in Montrose to public municipal property, I am pleased to report tonight, ahead of any notice to the media, that we have met the Fairhope Single Tax Corporation's donation of $184,500 and have reached our goal of $369,000 to relocate Henry's Roundhouse, every precious piece of it from the slab to the skylights, into the lovely woods in Flying Creek Nature Preserve. More than 100 citizen supporters gave money in amounts ranging from $20 to $50 to $100 up to $500 and $1,000, and one who contributed $11,500. Then about a month ago, an anonymous donor gave $100,000, which put us within 90% of our goal. And then just last week, last Tuesday night, as a matter of fact, we got another $50,000 from an anonymous donor. Unbelievable. The Fairhope Single Tax Colony's generosity to this project follows a tradition of many years, indeed from the very founding of Fairhope, where single tax has provided parklands and green space for the Fairhope community and visitors to our beautiful city. And I was personally not at all surprised, Madam Mayor, when from the beginning you personally became passionately committed to the project to move the historic Henry Stewart Roundhouse. The first anonymous donor made that contribution in recognition of your leadership at City Hall. The council members then gave their unanimous consent to provide a fitting site for its relocation. After surviving open heart surgery in 2022, a year after we kicked off the project, and a major heart attack 4 months ago, I began to feel I was still here so I would get to see this happen. So from the bottom of my tattered and shaky heart, and on behalf of the Tolstoy Park Committee members, Dick Scott and Savan Wilson, and for the sake of every dollar generously given by all the good people on our list of donors, and speaking for the thousands of souls, literally, who annually visit Tolstoy Park, I express my deepest gratitude. Sincerely, Sonny Brewer, co-chair of the Tolstoy Park Committee. And then there's a postscript, and it goes, I believe the movie based on my novel, The Poet of Tolstoy Park, will one day be made. And I am glad people will get to see it firsthand, Henry James Stewart's odd little roundhouse instead of a historic marker where it once stood. Thank you.
Thank you, Sonny, and thank you to your committee, Savan, Catherine, Dick Scott. Thank y'all so much for being here and for everything that you've done to make this possible. I'm very excited about it. It's going to be a great addition to Flying Creek Nature Preserve. And thank you to Single Tax, who continues to be a great partner with the city, donating half of that money, and to the anonymous donors for their recognition of how important this is to move, and really appreciate that. Two events, too, that I forgot to mention was the Film Festival, which is coming up this weekend. So there'll be a lot of folks in town for that, starting Thursday evening with their opening reception. And also the Fairhope Pirates are going to the second round of the playoffs. St. Michael's is continuing to go to the playoffs. So a lot of great football going on here locally. The Fairhope High School is having a community pep rally on Thursday evening. They're at the school, food trucks, cheerleaders, band, all that kind of good stuff. So if you would like to go out and support them, please do. I think it starts at 6 o'clock on Thursday night, but you can find all the details on social media. But I did want to let the folks know from Henry's Hut Committee that Richard Johnson has been in touch with Wolf Movers just to make sure that we can secure a contract with them. And I do know that probably after the first of the year, prices might go up a little bit. So we'll be working really quickly to make sure we can get that done and lock in some prices. So thank y'all very much for your support of that project, and thank you to the committee. We appreciate it.
Is that it, Mayor? That's plenty. Next item is public participation item. This is related to agenda items only. Item number 5 is a public hearing, so this would be participation on agenda items 6 through 31, I believe. If you would like to speak to those items, please step forward. Hello.
I'm Andy Parvin. I live at 104 Pecan Avenue. I would like to speak very briefly about 2 agenda items.
Yes, sir.
One is agenda item 14, which is the Pecan Avenue Watershed Project. Those of us that live at the lower elevations of Pecan, every time it rains hard, our yards flood and some of our dwellings get water too. And we want to thank the city, the mayor, the council, Richard, Eric, George, a lot of people. We've spoken to a lot of people for many years, and now we're very excited to be at the threshold of a permanent solution. We understand it's going to take 2 years, it's 2 phases, but we're so happy to be here, and thanks for the continued commitment over the years. Everyone's been wonderful. We know there's a lot of projects, there's a lot of water challenges. We're glad you were able to help ours. Second agenda item, item number 27, Fairhope Sunset Rotary, of which I'm a member. We'd like to ask the council to grant us access so that we can bring our grill next Thursday night for the tree lighting. We've done this before. We've done it at First Fridays for the purpose of setting it up in front of Lion's Share. And what we want to do is provide food free of charge, as well as non-alcoholic beverages. Now, depending on the weather, we'll probably do some combination of grilling out hamburgers, hot dogs, sausage. We've been known to do Krispy Kreme donuts paired with Bill E. bacon. And the drinks will probably be along the line of apple cider. So in the spirit of the holiday, please grant us access so we can add a little lagniappe to what is always a great event every year in Fairhope. Thank you.
Thank you, Andy. And thank you for your service to the city.
Confirm again the date of the tree lighting. So this says the 21st. The request is for the 21st.
It should be for the 20th. Yeah, it should be for the 20th.
Good catch.
Yep, thank you.
That would be a shame.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, we'll modify that when we're
And
reading.
it says the night of the tree lighting.
It
And then
does
the
say
date,
that,
yeah.
All right, anyone else? Items 6 through 31. All right, hearing none, we'll go ahead and close public participation and turn it over to council comments, starting with Councilman Burrell.
Well, since I hadn't been able to go first in about a year or so, I'm going to say something. I'm going to ask everyone to support ordinance number 8, to suspend with the rules and extend this temporary suspension of the applications for the MOP projects.
Councilman Gammon.
Thank you. Continuing to learn, so please bear with me as I ask questions. Department heads, thank you for your willingness to meet with me, and thank you, Mayor, for the assistance, and Lisa, continued. I agree with Councilman Burrell. I think that in the campaign, I heard consistently about folks needing a pause and needing to work on our zoning, and look forward to talking about that ordinance and the other ones. Look great to see some drainage work going on. Great to be working towards the things that we talked about in the election. Thank you.
Sir, Councilman Robinson.
Yes, I'd like to echo the mayor and congratulate our high school football team on their win at James Clemens in the first round of the playoffs. This past Friday night, Fairhope will be hosting a playoff game this Friday night against Central Phoenix City. In addition to that, some of our younger Pirates, the 12-year-old Fairhope Pirate recreational team played in the Super Bowl Saturday night in Daphne and came out champions, winning 40-20. I was there not because I'm just a dedicated public servant, but because I have a child playing on the team. But I look around at halftime and I see our super mayor supporting our 12-year-old youth football team. Sherry, I don't know how you go all the places you go and support all the people that you support, but the little kids saw the mayor there, and they were thrilled to see it. So I'm going to bring those kids in here and recognize them at our next council meeting. So look forward to having a room full of smelly 12-year-old children.
All right, Councilwoman Booth.
Yeah, I would just like to thank our department heads. I'm just really impressed with you guys, your dedication to our city and the way you come to all of these meetings and support us and our mayor. And I just want to reach out and thank you for that.
Well, just echo some of the previous comments and say leading up this next week, lighting the trees is one of my favorite events in the city of Fairhope. It really is a fantastic event. A lot of people have figured that out, so it's usually pretty crowded, but a great way to kick off the holiday season. And lastly, just with Veterans Day being tomorrow, if there are any veterans in the audience, if you wouldn't mind just standing up for a second so that we can recognize you and thank you for your service. Sonny and Gary, thank you both very much for your service.
Absolutely.
And for your continued service in all different sorts of realms to the city of Fairhope. We appreciate that.
Amen.
And congrats on Tolstoy Park. All right, moving along with the council agenda. The next item is a public hearing, and it is an ordinance to amend zoning ordinance number 1253, public hearing to reconsider the request, or to consider the request of the applicant Jade Consulting LLC on behalf of the owner of Shea Properties. It's requesting conditional annexation to R1 low-density, single-family residential district for Hilltop North. The property is approximately 14 acres. It's located at 6796 Twin Beach Road. And if someone would like to introduce the
I'll
ordinance.
introduce the ordinance, Mr.
Thank
President.
you, Councilman Burrell. Hunter, yes, sir.
Thank you, Council President. This is most of the details you just read, so I'll kind of skip through those and jump right to the zoning map. This is conditional annexation, so currently this property is not within the city. If you see on the left, you can see where you see trees or houses, the aerial imagery, that is actually not the city of Fairhope. Where there is either hatches or colored blocks, that is the city of Fairhope, and just to the south, in the turquoise color is Hilltop subdivision. As this property faces our front's Twin Beach Road, on the right is the actual property. The only thing I'll point of note here, there is a structure you can see on the property that is actually a pretty large cell tower that's existing that is going to stay as part of this development. So it's while there's 14 acres, not all 14 acres will be developed into housing. R1, as most of you know, is kind of our largest lot subdivision outside of agriculture. This was the boundary survey showing a lot of work was done to kind of find the trees on site that are heritage trees. There has been no other applications associated with this, so this is just the zoning case. They would have to follow up with a subdivision case to our planning commission that would deal with drainage, road structures, utility improvements, and the like. Budding zoning, we have the tourist resort district to the south, R2, R1 is the Hilltop subdivision, sitting within a PUD. And then we also have county jurisdiction. Most of those properties are BCZ, which is kind of a holding place when they zone that area. That essentially means whatever's there can remain there. As they develop, they'll have to get zoning through the county. And there's the BCZ map. Everything brown there is in the county, not in the city. So I think that kind of highlights, I know something we deal with on a regular basis, what the Fairhope zip code is not the city limits. We have a lot of jagged corporate boundaries, so just wanted to highlight that. R1 standards, 15,000 square foot lot minimums, 100-foot wide lots, setbacks, heights standard. The uses are here. It's mostly single family. There are a few that I don't think are intended to be developed, but we technically do allow a school if in R1. We do recommend approval of this. This was heard at the Planning Commission. They are unanimously making recommendation of approval to the City Council here. One other note, we do have Jade here to represent the client, and I think the only real concern or question was the name. Hilltop North, this is a different developer than Hilltop, so I think the name will be changed and the developer can confirm that by the time we see a subdivision case. Other than that, if there's any questions, I'll be happy to answer those, Council, and Jade is here if there's any questions from them.
Thank you. Public hearing is now open. If you wish to come speak to this item, please step forward and give your name and address.
Good evening. I'm Will Graham with Jay Consulting, representing this item. I did want to confirm the developer is planning to change the name. They do not have a new name as of yet, but it is in the process. So once we apply for preliminary plat, we'll have the actual name for it. That was the one kind of concern we had heard from the neighbors, was they didn't like the name. So no problem with us to change it. So that's, but if y'all have any other questions, I'm happy to answer.
How many lots do you anticipate being on this?
We anticipate 13. Yes, sir. All abiding by the R1 standards.
I was going to wait for the public hearing, but since he started the question, I'll ask you this. Because you're asking to annex, into the city, you don't have to answer this question because, you don't have to tell me what your plans are exactly. Site plan approval comes later, but, Joshua asked a good question, and I know that you could put, that's, 13 lots is basically 1 per acre. That's good, and you could put roughly 3 if you didn't count roads, infrastructure, the fact that there's a cell phone tower on there, though. But I'm always curious, and once again, I'll go back to, you're asking to come into our city.
Yes, sir.
What is this going to look like? Is it going to be another cookie-cutter neighborhood where you crammed as many lots as you could possibly get in there on there? Are you have any green space at all?
Yes, sir. Yeah. So we're kind of trying to carry through what the Hilltop neighborhood did, the low impact, trying to work around all natural features and large trees, notable trees in the area, and make it really kind of a continuation of that feel, low impact, nicer custom homes. So that's the feel that we're going for on this one.
Is there anything that you want to share with us, maybe at the next meeting or tonight on that?
As far as
that, what that plat would look like?
Sure, I could probably bring I would have to just make sure the developer's okay with me sharing that, but we have a site plan that we've worked up that we're planning to submit later on, that I'm sure I could share with y'all.
Kind of getting really tough. I mean, my vote depends on what it's going to look like.
Okay.
Anyone have any other questions right now? All right, anyone else? Thank you. Anyone else from the public wish to speak on this proposed ordinance?
Hunter, you said the heritage trees were identified?
They have been. It's not required at this stage of the zoning case. So in a residential development, they will identify those within the subdivision case. But I think they've already done some due diligence, which we like to see. You know, before we require it, if developer engineers are out there doing that on the front end, that usually results in a better solution. So I think Hilltop is a good example of when that works. I think you can look across the street. Richard Johnson and I drove through today on the east side of, I don't want to start sending a lot of people, so I won't go any further. But there is another development there where it's been designed to work with the trees and the layout of the land and try to work with the natural features as much as possible. Mm-hmm.
Council, any other questions or anybody from the general public wish to speak on this? Discussion? Well, it'd be customary to just let this lay over for the next council meeting and then be considered for final adoption at that time. So moving on, item number 6 is an ordinance repealing and replacing ordinance number 722, chapter 21, article 6 of garbage and trash collection and disposal, sections 2176 and 2177. Would someone like to introduce the ordinance?
I'll introduce the ordinance.
Councilman Burrell. And this is what George talked to us about earlier, is primarily cleaning up some language and just having everything aligned with our new terminology, landfill, et cetera. Anybody have any questions for George? Conversation on this? And we'll let that lay over. Item number 7 is an ordinance to amend ordinance number 1689, the bylaws of the Environmental Advisory Board. And I believe that was primarily to change their meeting cycle to every other month rather than monthly. Questions for Nicole or any comments? Someone like to introduce that ordinance?
I'll do it as the liaison.
Discussion on this one. Okay, hearing none, we'll let that ordinance lay over as well. Item number 8. This is an ordinance of the City of Fairhope, Alabama, to protect the health, safety, and general welfare of the people, to extend the temporary suspension of consideration of certain residential multiple occupancy projects and subdivision applications in the City of Fairhope and for other purposes. And Councilman Burrell had made a request, would agree with this during his council comments, that we really ought to consider suspending with the rules and passing this. But first, before we get to that point, would anyone like to introduce this ordinance?
I'll introduce it.
Councilman, any conversation or discussion about that? I know we've mentioned a little bit, but would y'all like to discuss this? And do we have a time frame yet that we think, if we do want to consider the extension, how long that ought to be?
like to, I think that it was written.
I'm trying to
That's
see.
4 months, I think, right?
As, yeah, so 120 days. and,
Months,
I mean,
120
we could
days.
shorten it if needed be, but
If
I'd
necessary.
like to keep I'd like to keep that at 120 days as written. In fact, I would like to go ahead and make a motion to suspend with the rules and vote for immediate consideration.
What's the advantageous? Why not extend it? Why keep it? Who came up with 120 days is my question. Why 120, not 180?
Well, because it's
360,
got to be
what's the-
tailored to
Yeah.
a specific purpose, and the purpose is to revamp and to finish redoing the zoning
Yeah.
and subdivision
And
regulations.
so we kind of backed into it by saying, okay, if we change the wording in the zoning, if it takes us, how long it takes us to revamp that, change the wording, then how long do we have to advertise it to go back through the cycle of approval? And that's how we kind of backed into 120 days. We can't just indefinitely.
Of course,
We do have
of
to
course.
have
Yeah, yeah, there has
a
to be some sense
deadline.
behind
And
it.
we talked about 90 days. That was going to be cutting it real tight.
Yeah.
Might be able to do it in 90 days, but there's a chance that with the holidays, we would not meet the advertising deadlines. They're kind of archaic sometimes, I think, in Alabama. You've got to do it in certain print media, not just doing it online, so.
And also, and then in 120 days, if we have sufficient reason and we're not ready, we extend it again. I didn't want to go too far, and I thought that was a good compromise. So, I have a motion on the floor.
Got a motion on the floor to suspend with the rules.
I'll second it.
Got a motion and a second for immediate consideration. So clerk, if you'll call the question to that part.
Place 1.
Aye.
Place 2.
Aye.
Council President.
Aye.
Place 4.
Aye.
Place 5.
Aye.
All right, we got a motion to suspend with, or a pass to suspend with the rules. Do we have a motion for adoption?
Motion for final adoption.
Second.
Got a motion and a second for final adoption. Any further discussion?
I guess the only thing I want to say is just make sure that we have great, over this, let's take the 120 days and do exactly what we need to do so we're not in this situation again. Whatever happened this past time, to make sure that everybody's involved, that we have the right communication and everything's what it should be. I don't think you're going to see anybody in the city of Fairhope be upset that we're suspending applications for another 120 days.
Thank you, sir. Clerk, if you'll call the question.
Place 1.
Aye.
Place 2.
Aye.
Council President.
Aye.
Place 4.
Aye.
Place 5.
Aye.
All right. Motion passes, ordinance passes. So, next item up is a final adoption for an ordinance to amend ordinance number 1253 to consider the request from the City of Fairhope Planning and Zoning Department for amendments to the City of Fairhope zoning ordinance, which was introduced at the October 27th City Council meeting. And council, I think, piggybacking on this last discussion, what we maybe like to see is to table this item rather than take an actionable vote and use this additional 120 days to dig into this a little deeper,
Yeah,
make sure we're not.
I'm sorry, I was going to just make a motion to table item number 9.
Is that indefinitely, just indefinitely? Okay.
Definitely.
Got a motion to table indefinitely?
Second.
Second? All right. Now, for that, we don't need to have the clerk, we just make a motion. All right. All those in favor of tabling, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right. Motion's tabled. Item number 10 is a site plan extension request for the applicant Jade Consulting LLC, acting on behalf of the owner, Encounter Development LLC, and they're requesting a 180-day extension of the site plan approval that was granted for the property located to the north of State Highway 104 and east of State Highway 181, known as the Encounter House relocation. The site plan was approved on November 21st, 2024, and the request is to extend that site plan for 180 days.
Mr. President, I move to grant the extension.
Got
Second.
a motion and a second. Any further discussion on this?
You had no objections, right, Hunter? That was unanimous? Okay.
I'm sorry, I said yes without hearing the question. Let's make sure I don't get you and I in trouble.
You just approved a 50-foot.
Just agreed to wax my truck.
Right.
No, the site plan extension request, you had no issues with that? at all,
No
right?
issues
Okay.
whatsoever. Just, as a background, there was moving the house that is known as the Encounter House. And there's been a lot of due diligence with Eric's department to try to figure out, to make sure that move is successful. And we are all on board with making sure that's successful. So, thank you.
Sounds good.
Wax on, wax off.
All right, we've got a motion and a second. All those in favor of the site plan extension request, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposition? All right, motion passes. Item number 11 is a resolution to award bid 26-010-2025 PWI 013 to M&N of Alabama LLC for maintenance dredging and shoreline renourishment Fly Creek with a bid proposal not to exceed $717,774. Council, we had good discussion on this in the.
I make a
works-
motion to award the bid.
All right.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
I really want to give those guys here a hard time, but I can't do it because you know what? I really do appreciate the partnership and the amount of money that the yacht club's willing to spend to help, all of the citizens of Fairhope. And I hope that in the future we can get one more partner down there to help contribute as well.
Thank you for adding that. I appreciate it. All right, so we've got a motion and a second. All those in favor of the resolution, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? All right, resolution passes. Item number 12 is a resolution that the city council authorizes the mayor to enter into a memorandum of understanding with the Fairhope Yacht Club establishing that they will pay 50% of the project cost as presented in this MOU for the channel dredging project of Fly Creek, and acknowledges and agrees that a valuable public purpose will be served by entering into this public-private partnership.
So moved.
All right, we've got a motion
Second.
and a second. And I'll just add that there is 68,000 of the 717 is going to be paid by the city of Fairhope, and then the remainder is going to be split 50-50 with a third due at substantial completion from the yacht club, another third at the 6-month mark, and another third by the 1-year mark. And y'all are great partners, and we appreciate y'all working with the city of Fairhope. And the yacht club also happens to believe that they have the permit on this too. So we all need to work together to make it happen. So got a motion and a second. All in favor of the resolution, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposition? All right, motion passes. Item 13 is a resolution that the city of Fairhope approves the award of the request of quotes for labor and materials for the new bathrooms, Magnolia Beach and Pier Avenue boat ramp to Thomas Industries, Inc., doing business as Thomas Construction, for a not-to-exceed project cost of $98,726. This public works project will be less than $100,000 and therefore does not need to be formally bid out, and authorize the treasurer to transfer $23,726 from the general fund to capital projects fund.
Make a motion to approve.
All right, we've got a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
I completely forgot to ask this before, but it's a hurricane-rated building, I'm sure, right? Great.
Yeah, and you said they wouldn't exceed it, but I would tell them to make sure they only have $1,284 to spend before they get in violation of bid law.
They don't even get that.
All right, good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. We've got a motion and a second. All those in favor of the resolution, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? All right, resolution passes. Item number 14 is a resolution to award bid to Chris Brewer Contracting, Inc. for Pecan Avenue Watershed Drainage Improvements Phase 1 with a bid proposal not to exceed $545,810, and to authorize treasurer to transfer $74,252 from Phase 2 to Phase 1 of the project with Capital Projects Fund 103-55853. And this was going to be new, ultimately we'll wind up with new drainage, and new bathroom is going to fix up and clean up this whole area down there.
I'll move to award the bid.
Got a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
Appreciate your comments earlier tonight. It has been a long time coming, and a lot of work went into this. And it's a lot of money, and it's just phase one of two, so thank you for being patient, too.
All right. All those in favor of the resolution, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? All right, resolution passes. Item number 15 is a resolution that the city council approves contract amendment number 1 for the RFQ PS 25-028 for professional engineering services for the 8-inch water main replacement under Rock Creek project with Krebs Engineering with an additional not-to-exceed amount of $15,000 and authorizes Mayor Sherry Sullivan to execute a contract amendment. The new contract total with a not-to-exceed annual amount of $45,000, and this will cover the design and C&I. All right, we got a motion
Second?
and a second. Any further discussion on this project? Okay, hearing none, all those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Aye. Any opposition? All right, resolution passes. Item number 16 is a resolution that the city council hereby rescinds resolution number 5506-25 for the award for quotes and labor for a replacement pump at well number 8, and hereby authorizes Mayor Sherry Sullivan to execute a rental agreement with Griner Drilling Services to add a weekly fee for a submersible pump in well number 8 for a cost of $1,000, estimated for 25 weeks for an additional cost of $25,000.
Move to rescind the resolution and execute the rental agreement.
All right, we've got a motion and a second. Any further discussion on this item? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposition? All right, resolution passes. Item number 17 is a resolution that Mayor Sherry Sullivan is hereby authorized to execute a contract with Geocon Engineering and Materials Testing, Inc. for concrete testing at the wastewater treatment plant. This is RFQ PS 26-006 with a not-to-exceed amount of $7,500 to authorize the treasurer to transfer $7,500 from wastewater professional services to wastewater treatment plant system improvement.
So moved.
Got a motion?
Second.
And a second. Any further discussion on this item? Hearing none, all those in favor of the resolution, please say aye. Aye. Any opposition? All right, resolution passes. Item number 18 is a resolution to award bid 25-060 to General Maintenance Contractors of East Alabama, Inc., doing business as GMC Underground for Gas Department Contractor, annual contract with an annual contract amount of $200,000. This is for on-call services.
So moved.
Got a motion?
Second.
And a couple of seconds. Motion and a
Can I
second.
give you a jaw break?
All right, any further discussion on this item?
Hey, Wes, did their rates go up? Because, this is just a fixed amount that we budget to spend, but then they could change their rates. Did their rates stay the same or did they go up?
There's so many line items on there, I don't think I can send them to you, but
I've got them.
there's like 50 line items, so maybe on some they did a little bit, but there was nothing on the page that really jumped out.
Well, there were other bidders too, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay.
Right. Motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of the resolution, please say aye.
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 Any opposition? All right, resolution passes. Resolution number 19 is a resolution that the city council hereby rejects all bids of bid 26-003-2023 PWI-019 for the Fairhope Pool rehabilitation and authorizes the mayor to negotiate a contract with the one bidder pursuant to the Code of Alabama 1975, Section 41-16-50. And the one bid, according to Richard, was not far out of line, was relatively in line, and there's some opportunities for some value engineering maybe to have some cost savings in there. So right now, we'd like to go forward with that one bidder.
Move to reject the bids and negotiate a contract.
All right, we've got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Okay, hearing none, all those in favor of the resolution, please say aye. Aye. Any opposition? All right, motion carries. Item number 20 is a resolution that the city of Fairhope approves the award of the request for quotes for labor and materials for new home team baseball dugout at Volanta Ballpark to RHD's Building Company for a not-to-exceed project cost of $99,971. This is a public works project, will be less than $100,000 and therefore does not need to be formally bid out. Authorize the treasurer to transfer $99,971 from the press box project to the baseball dugout project with recreational capital improvements in fiscal year '26 budget. This is a bit of a timing issue to try to get this ready by the February 1st deadline, but $29 buffer, so we can't even buy a tank of gas, and this would go over. So, any questions, council? Any conversation?
I'd like to know if Mr. Brewer's anonymous donor is a baseball fan.
Let's just get it done. Time's not on our side.
Entertain a motion.
So moved.
So moved. Okay.
Second?
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? All right, all those in favor of the resolution, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? All right, resolution passes. Resolution, item number 21 is a resolution that the city of Fairhope hereby authorizes Mayor Sherry Sullivan to execute an extension of the contract with Genesis Industrial Staffing, Inc. to supply temporary employees to supplement the existing workforce for the following departments: Adult Recreation and Special Events, $2,500, Street Department, $15,000, Horticulture Department, $51,000, and Sanitation Department, $15,000, for a total of $83,500. These services are exempt pursuant to the Code of Alabama.
Bless you.
Bless you.
Motion to authorize the mayor to execute an extension of the contract.
All right, we got a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
Council President, I think I'm going to abstain from this just because I do business with Genesis in my full-time job, so.
Thank you for
think it's a great-
noting that.
Great company,
Please-
but-
Please make sure you mark that in the minutes. Clerk, all right. We've got a motion and a second. All those in favor of the resolution, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposition? All right, and we'll note the one abstention. Motion carries. Resolution, item number 22 is a resolution that the city council hereby approves to amend Resolution 5620-25 to adjust the not-to-exceed amounts for Long's Human Resource Services to supply temporary employees to supplement the existing workforce for the following departments: Adult Recreation and Special Events, $2,500, Streets Department, $3,537.47, and Landscape Department, $48,694.80, and Add Sanitation Department, $15,000, for a total of $69,732.27. These services are exempt pursuant to the Code of Alabama 1975. Was a $8,000 increase, Councilman Burrell noted, I guess from the last time we saw that conversation. Questions for Hannah or any motions anyone would like to consider?
Make a motion to adjust the not-to-exceed amounts.
Got a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
Would say, since I did pick on the increase, but it's budgeted labor cost, though. But it was just something that it just differed from the previous. They just decided to go to the temporary services to hire
those, correct.
With additional labor.
Yes.
But it's a budgeted salary, correct?
In the budget.
All those in favor of the resolution, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? All right, resolution carries. Item number 23 is a resolution that the city council approves the selection by Mayor Sherry Sullivan for professional consulting services for RFQ PS 26008 Grants and Grant Management to Grant Management LLC, and hereby authorize Mayor Sherry Sullivan to negotiate a not-to-exceed fee to be approved by the council.
So moved.
Got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, those in favor of the resolution, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposition? All right. Item number 24 is a resolution to reappoint Gary Coles as Director to the Educational Building Authority of the City of Fairhope, Alabama for St. Michael Catholic High School with a term to expire on the second Monday of November 2027.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? All right, hearing none, all those in favor of the resolution, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? All right, motion carries. Item number 25 is a resolution that Mayor Sherry Sullivan is hereby authorized to execute an indemnity agreement, an annual party agreement between Oak Hollow Farm, Inc. and the City of Fairhope for the city's Christmas event for the city employees at the barn on Friday, December 12th, 2025, from noon until 3:30 p.m.
So moved.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? All right, hearing none, all those in favor of the resolution, please say aye.
Aye.
All right, I'm not even going to ask. Nobody's opposed to that. All right, motion carries. Item number 26 is a request for Blair Ewan, request that the city council grant a variance to ordinance 1443, known as the noise ordinance, for Friday, December 5th, 2025, to host a rehearsal dinner for Janae and Joe Bonner's family in downtown Fairhope at the apiary, 85 North Bancroft Street, and the event is scheduled to conclude at 10:30 p.m. Our noise ordinance is for anything after 10 p.m., so we're only talking about 30 minutes.
So moved.
Got a motion?
Second.
A second. Any discussion?
Sherry said that that's the day of the Christmas parade, correct? Okay.
It is,
I
and
think it's gonna be pretty noisy anyway.
and I've notified them of the Christmas parade. They're aware of it, and they've made accommodations for it.
Okay, good.
Might be why it's going later. Might be why it's going later.
All right, so we've got a motion and a second. All those in favor of the request, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? All right, request is granted. Item number 27 is a request by Jack Powell, president of the Fairhope Sunset Rotary, requesting permission to set up their grill on De Lamar Avenue in front of Lion Share on the night of the tree lighting, November the 20th, 2025. They will be giving out free hot dogs and sausage dogs to the community at no cost. If the weather is cold enough, we will make a pot of apple cider as well. So great way to promote Rotary and its efforts in the community as well as around the world. And they've been doing this for a long time. I think we just want to officially give them a request. But that's
I'd make a motion to approve it, but change the date to the 20th instead of the 21st.
As amended, right?
all right.
Second.
We got a motion
Second.
and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right, request is granted. Item number 28, let me get to this. Item 28 is appointments for the Board of Adjustments, and Hunter had indicated this was kind of cleaning up some staggered terms, and we also had Kathy Slagle had asked to be transferred to a supernumerary member, and okay, yeah, and Brian Flowers is then going to take her spot as a member ending in 2026. Ryan Baker would have a term ending in 26. Donna Cook would end in 27. Neil Vera in 27, and Frank Lemia in 28, and then David Martin would be reappointed as a supernumerary member with a term ending in 2026. Same membership, shuffling around some of the positions and then staggering the terms so that we don't have everybody rolling off all at once.
Approve.
All right, we've got a motion to approve the reappointments and a second. Any discussion, any questions for Hunter? All right, all those in favor of the reappointments, please say aye.
Aye.
All right, any opposition? All right, the appointments pass. Item number 30 is an application for a restaurant liquor license by Ashley Gray, June LLC, doing business as locals for 312 Fairhope Avenue, Fairhope, Alabama. And Chief had said that this all checked out. No issues on her side.
Mr. President, you skipped 29.
I'll move to
Sure
approve the
did.
restaurant liquor license, and we'll go back to 29.
Thank you.
Second. Good grief.
I'm telling you what. I think reading so much eventually catches up with you. All right, we will go, thank you, council, for that.
Call the vote, please.
Motion-
Call the
yeah.
vote.
All those in favor of the liquor license, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. That application is granted, and we will go backwards to item number 29, which is just reappointments to the Fairhope Environmental Advisory Board. And the two reappointments on here ending in November of 2029 are Amy Paulson and Jennifer Fouch. And I apologize to Amy and Jennifer for skipping over them.
Approve?
Second?
Got a motion and a second.
Mayor, I should have asked this for the other one too, but were there any applications for other than the appointees or reappointees?
I did not see any other applications. We typically let the committees
Okay,
review those
review that.
applications and make those
Okay.
recommendations. I believe Amy and Jennifer are both in their first term for that committee. And so typically, if they've served one term, they're doing okay. Amy is the chair. We'll typically let them go at least another term. I did want to mention too on the parking authority, not the parking authority, but on the Board of Adjustments, that Brian Flowers was serving on the parking authority, but in an ability to make sure we have more people that are able to serve, he did resign his position from parking authority to be able to serve on Board of Adjustments.
Okay, thank you.
All those in favor of the reappointments to the Fairhope Environmental Advisory Board, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? All right, appointments are confirmed. Item number 31 is a application for a special events license by Thomas Bratton McGregor from Bottles Up Mobile, Inc., doing business as Bottles Up Mobile, for the apiary on 85 North Bancroft Street, Fairhope, Alabama 36532. And this coincides with item number 26, which was the rehearsal dinner event concluding at 10:30 PM.
Move to grant the license.
All right, we've got a motion
Second.
and a second. All right, all those in favor of the application, please say aye.
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 Any opposition? All right, application passes. Next item up is public participation. If you can address the council on any issue, and you've got 3 minutes. Just step to the microphone and give your name and address for the city clerk. Floor is open.
I'd just like to thank the council along with Richard, working with the Fairhope Yacht Club. Thank you guys very, very much, and we look forward to working with y'all in the future.
We appreciate the partnership. Thank
We
you.
appreciate yours.
What else? All right, seeing no one else, we'll go ahead and close the floor for public participation. We do have one other item for the council. We have an executive session to discuss pending and potential litigation. I'll go ahead and read this letter from city attorney, but it says, city council members, as city attorney Marcus McDowell, I hereby request that the Fairhope City Council go into executive session based on Alabama Code to discuss pending and potential litigation. As city attorney, I hereby request that the city council of the city of Fairhope rise from regular city council meeting on Monday, November 10th, 2025, to go into executive session. The city council shall be in executive session for approximately 60 minutes. At the end of the executive session, the city council shall return to the city council chambers to resume regular city council meeting. Do y'all anticipate us taking, so we do not anticipate any action. Y'all are welcome to stay here and wait, but when we come out in an hour or so, we will just adjourn the meeting. So don't want you to feel like you're waiting for something exciting.
Or so.
I'm just being a realist. Sorry, I don't want to put it in the air, but I'm being a realist. Could I get a motion to enter into executive
So move
session?
on executive session.
What's that? No.
I move to go in executive
You got a
session.
motion?
Second.
And a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, we'll be back in about an hour.
I thought you were gonna get to go home.
Hereby adjourned. Where are these people at? Yeah.
Jack's done it, and
All right. We want to wait on Jay.
I'd like to move to adjourn.
You got a motion?
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. We're out of here.